The Bible is Black history. The Flood. There are two creation stories in the book of Genesis, and we've reviewed those, and it's important to know this so that you'll understand why God sent the flood. We have also reviewed that there are other gods, and each of those gods had their own plot of earth. Let's talk about why God sent the flood. God wanted to keep his creation. God had a creation simply for his glory. Just as the other gods had their creations on their plots of land for their glory, God had us, the black creation, for his glory. Now, as these other creations came over and we started to intermingle with them and marry them and get into their chaos and their behaviors, God said, I will destroy you to save my creation. And that's what he did. He destroyed all of the bad behavior and started with the one set of people, that being Noah, that was doing the right thing. God, in his wisdom, knew that if we intermarry with these other creations, that their gods would take us away from him. But Noah found favor with God, for he alone was righteous among the people of his day. Noah had 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And God said to him, I will establish my covenant with you. You will go into the ark with your wife, your sons, and their wives. God gave Noah specific instructions on how to make this ark, the specific dimensions, the kind of wood, the number of windows. God told Noah, of every clean beast thou shalt take to thee by 7, the male and his female, and of beasts that are not clean by 2, the male and his female. Of fowls also of the air by 7, the male and his female, to keep seed alive upon the face of all the earth. So let's talk about this for a moment, because we've been told or made to believe that all the animals throughout the earth was put on this ark. Again, the animals on this ark are simply those that were in the land of Eden. And when I say the land of Eden, we're talking about the continent of Africa. That's inclusive of Egypt, because it is, and it's inclusive of what the white man now calls the Middle East. All of that is Africa. All of that was the land of Eden. So that's what we're looking at. The animals that were there were the animals that went onto the ark. As far as the other plots of land, the earth was separated. Those lands had their own gods. Those people survived the flood because they had nothing to do with it. Only the people that perished in this flood were God's people, his creation, and the creation that had crossed over into our land. Likewise, the only animals that went onto the ark were the animals that were in our land. For 40 days, the flood kept coming on the earth, and as the waters increased, they lifted the ark high above the earth. The water rose and increased greatly on the earth, and the ark floated on the surface of the water. They rose greatly on the earth, and all the high mountains under the entire heavens were covered. The water rose and covered the mountains to the depth of more than 15 cubits. Every living thing that moved on the land perished, birds, livestock, wild animals, all the creatures that swam over the earth, and all mankind. Everything on dry land that had the breath of life in its nostril died. Every living thing on the face of the earth was wiped out. People and animal and creatures that moved along the ground, and the birds were wiped from the earth. Only Noah was left, and those with him in the ark. The water flooded the earth for 150 days. Genesis 7:17 through 24. So again, the people that are perishing here are God's people, and any of the other people who crossed over, meaning the individuals that the sons of God was marrying. They were marrying these people and causing chaos with these people and joining in their chaos. Those are the people who died in this flood. So when it says the whole earth here, it's talking about the earth that God had allotted for his creation. And another example of this is when Cain said, thou hast driven me from the face of the earth. So God had driven him off of the earth that he had for his people, and he had to go into the land of Nod, meaning to wander onto the other plots of land. God remembered Noah and the animals on the ark. The water receded, and the ark came to rest on the mountain of Ararat. Then Noah built an altar and offered burnt offering to the Lord. And God blessed Noah and his family, saying, Be fruitful and increase in numbers, and fill the earth. And God said to Noah, And I will establish my covenant with you. Neither shall all flesh be cut off any more by the water of a flood. Neither shall there any more be a flood to destroy the earth. and that's from Genesis 9:11. Now, let's talk about this a little bit because we've been told again and again that God said he wasn't going to destroy the earth with a flood, but there's always floods happening and there's always, well, God is talking to a specific group of people. He's talking to his creation. He's talking about a specific piece of land, his earth that he created for his people. So he's not talking worldwide. When he says that the whole earth flooded, it was the entire earth that he had made for his people. He's talking to his people, he's talking about his people, and he's saying it will no longer, he will no longer destroy their earth to the point of all life being destroyed. Thank you all so much. The significant event following the flood is the Tower of Babel.